Welcome to Weddings Unveiled, the podcast designed to help you build a productive, profitable wedding or event business. Here's your host, Angela Profit.
Hi y'all, it's Angela Profit, your event and productivity therapist, coming to you from the heart of Music City in Nashville, Tennessee. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Weddings Unveiled, professional tips and secrets on wedding planning and event design, where we take you behind the scenes of our past experiences in the event industry, what we have learned from them, and how they have made us stronger. This podcast will help you grow a productive and profitable business to launch you into success within the hospitality industry. Today, I'm joined by the very best communications and event consultant in the business, Allison Burry.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for having me, Angela. I'm so excited to share some of our past experiences together. We've definitely been through some unique situations over the years. What are we discussing today?
Today, we're going to talk about your client avatar. And if you know that a client or potential client you're talking to cannot afford your services, it's okay to turn the job away.
Well, tell us the story. How'd you learn this tip?
There's so many things from this specific event. And I'll say I still struggle with this on a daily basis because I really do want to help everyone. And I've had some very negative experiences that I've put myself and my team through, and I've learned a lot by understanding it's okay to say no, and that I'm not for everyone and I can't help everyone, because there is a certain level of customer service and an experience that we provide, and if customers can't afford it or they don't value it, that it's okay to walk away. And so I'll start off by saying with this client, they definitely wanted to save money in the beginning. I knew they needed help. We weren't booked that weekend. And they were talking about doing a lot of DIY projects, which is do it yourself, which is okay to a certain point. There's a difference between doing these projects to save money versus the projects because you truly enjoy them and you want to create creativeness to your event because you enjoy doing projects. It's two very, very different things. And oftentimes people think they're going to save money by doing things themselves. But in this circumstance, it did not save the client money at all. It actually created more labor and more work for us, which when you end up having to hire people to do it, that costs money. And so educating clients on labor and the time that it goes into some of these projects behind the scenes to pull them off is very, very important. And sometimes they get mad when they can't complete something. But again, I say, we'll take care of it, but obviously there's going to be a labor charge. And so always reminding clients and putting this in writing is so, so important. So one of the projects she wanted to do was, I don't even know what it's called. I'll describe it to you. But basically, it was a Martha Stewart idea where you take mason jars and you buy these stencils and this paint and this brush, and you apparently bake the mason jars, and then you peel back the stencil, and it's supposed to have all these cute designs on the jars. Well, it sounds easy, but it wasn't that easy. And it was actually a mess. And so she got very overwhelmed. So of course I told her that we could take care of it. We would finish the project. But even for us to finish the project, it was a complete nightmare. It never really worked out. In fact, Allison, I think you were staying at my house at the time, and I think I might have been out of town when you were trying to finish it, and what happened?
Well, it was a very interesting project, to say the least. I usually love to do that kind of stuff. I'm very hands-on and love doing little crafty things. But I started working on it, and it was about 300 mason jars, and there were, I think, 5 or 6 different stencils and 3 different colors. And so we had to do a certain number of stencils in each color and switch up. So it was a lot of math involved to start off with. And as I started doing it and seeing just how long it took, because we had to, put the stencil on and then put the paint on, and trial and error for the first few times, I learned that the paint wasn't really thick enough to see. And so we had to do the stencils, do the paint, let it dry, do another coat of paint. And it was a few days before the wedding, and I'm realizing I we didn't have enough time to get this all done because they also had to bake afterwards to get it to stay on, so like the condensation of your drinks wouldn't wear off the paint. And so coincidentally, my mom was coming to town for, I'm from Louisville, she came for something, I don't even remember why she was coming to town, but she stopped by and we were going to go out and hang out for a little while. And I was like, well, Mom, instead of hanging out, like, you're going to have to help me with this project. And so my poor mom and I stayed up until like 3 o'clock in the morning and spent a whole day doing all of these mason jars. We eventually got them done. The bride loved what they looked like. They turned out well, but it was a lot more than what we had bargained for when we took on the project. We were not expecting it to be so labor intensive.
And the labor costs more because that's just how things happen sometimes. We don't intentionally work slowly. We like to be productive and multitask. Like in addition to that project, this client, they wanted to provide a lot of furniture and all these other cute props that went in this beautiful barn. And it was like a loft barn situation, and she wanted some of the furniture upstairs. It couldn't fit up the stairs. And so having to hire people who were like certified tree climbers, if I could talk, having the appropriate ladders and certifications to lift all of these items up there. I mean, all that costs money. And then having lamps up there, needing to run electricity and getting an electrician to do that. It was just more than what I think people realize sometimes what they're paying for. And they were not at all happy with paying for the labor. I don't know how they expected this stuff to get done for free, but they were not happy with me because I'm the communicator. I mean, we communicate to clients, yes, we can do anything, but obviously there's going to be a fee involved. And so there were some of the things that we had quoted out to be taken care of, and the bride just kept saying, oh, I want to do it myself. I want to do it myself. And she was one of those very type A brides that I could tell she took great pride in doing certain projects herself. So she wanted to do that, and she was very aggressive and forward about it. And typically I would say never. Brides are never allowed to set up their own stuff. But there comes a point sometimes where you just shut your mouth and you just say, okay. And this was the first and last time that I've ever done this. I mean, again, as a designer, you don't want things to look bad and you don't want things to look rushed. That's why brides hire planners and designers to execute for them so they can enjoy their day. But again, with her being very, I don't want to say controlling, it's just she was always used to being in charge, and it was very hard for her to part ways. So the poor bride's there at the setup with her hair and makeup done, climbing up ladders, which was so unsafe. And again, I should have put my foot down and never, ever had taken this client, because that's not something that I normally want happening. I just don't want a bride to feel like she needs to go to an outdoor wedding and set up for her own wedding. Like, that's what we're for.
Definitely. Well, I think we all learned a few things from those experiences of that wedding, but what was your biggest takeaway from everything that happened?
I would say the biggest takeaway was, you don't try to help everybody. It is okay not to help everybody, and really figure out who your client avatar is and focus on serving that client that best suits your business model and your company. And another thing, like, don't overcommit to doing things just to help try to save the client money. I mean, stay in your lane and know your role, I would say, is very, very important. With some of the projects being a nightmare, we just gave you one example. I knew the client was going to not be happy with me when they got their labor bill. And, I should have gone with my gut from the beginning, knowing that they really couldn't afford it and we just really weren't a good fit, that they were truly the type of clients that thought they could execute it on their own and wanted to do it on their own. And I will say, these clients, I've heard this a lot. I haven't experienced it firsthand, but when clients can't afford something, they have what you call buyer's remorse. And so I did receive a very long email from the bride and groom, actually the week after their wedding. I'm like, aren't you on your honeymoon and having fun? And I mean, they were just picking my invoice apart, and they were they just were not appreciative at all, which was a very hurtful thing because we worked very hard to do everything they asked for, but they were just mad about the money portion of it. And so they left with a bad taste in their mouth, and of course it left a bad taste in my mouth too. And of course I responded, I apologized, and then weeks later I got a handwritten letter from the groom about how some of my team members disappointed them, and he couldn't believe that I allowed his new wife to come to the venue and climb up on a ladder and set up. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, she was very, very aggressive in wanting to do that, and I wasn't going to tell her no. And so it's just little misunderstandings like that that are very unfortunate in this business, and people don't always really know what's going on behind the scenes.
Definitely. Well, can you share with our listeners some of the different products and resources available to help wedding and event planners?
Absolutely. You can visit our blog on our website at angelaprofit.com. We have lots of great articles and resources available there. You can also sign up for email updates for tips and resources that we only share to our email subscribers. We also offer a lot of free webinars on various subjects, and we have a few live events coming up this year, so be sure to watch social media to learn about those.
Awesome. Well, Angela, thank you so much for sharing your valuable advice with us today. I can't wait for next week to tell more of our incredible experiences together.
Thank you for joining me, Allison, and thank you so much to all of you who listened today. And thanks for joining us on Weddings Unveiled, professional tips and secrets on wedding planning and event design. Tune in next week to learn more from our past experiences. If you found this podcast helpful, please share it with other wedding and event professionals. Be sure to subscribe today so you never miss the juicy details of Weddings Unveiled. I'm so passionate about helping other event professionals, and with my background in psychology, I appreciate that our best selves develops from real-life situations like we're sharing with you on these podcasts. Thank you so much for listening. Be sure to tune in next week for more tips on how to grow your business. If you have a question or unresolved issue that you would like guidance on, connect with us at angelaprofit.com. And until next time, remember to stay productive and profitable.
You've been listening to Weddings Unveiled with Angela Profit. Join us next time for more insights to help you build a productive, profitable wedding or event business. For more great resources, head over to angelaprofit.com.